Good afternoon, Professor Blash and fellow GMC classmates. My name is Josh McBride, and today, as you can tell, I'm not giving you a speech in front of a fire truck or wearing my firefighter equipment. I'm wearing my uniform of the United States soldier. I have been in the Army Reserves for over 15 years now, and I have just a little over 7 more years to go until I can finally retire, which I'm really looking forward to at this point. Now, as you can probably imagine, as any of you who have stayed with a job for 15 years or been anywhere for 15 years, maybe you've lived in the same city for 15 years, I've seen the Army go through many changes. I've seen them go through changes in the way they train soldiers. I've seen them become a much more technologically dependent Army. I've seen changes in the way they recruit, and I've seen major changes in policies come through the Army over the 15 years, especially now that I'm in a leadership position as a sergeant. Now, over these past 15 years, one of the topics that has evoked more debate than anything is the topic of allowing women to have combat jobs in the Army. In the Army, we refer to a job as a MOS, which stands for a military occupational specialty. You might hear me refer to that later. If you do, an MOS just means job. Now, women have been allowed to be in the Army for many years. Even during the Revolutionary War, we had women who served in the Army and bravely served alongside our men, but they always served in roles mainly as nurses or secretaries and things like that. What I'm talking about is allowing women into actual combat jobs, into ground fighting, where they will be, doing hand-in-hand combat and things like that. This topic has proved a lot of debate, and some of the sides you hear about it might be different than what you would think. I've heard a lot of men say they support it, and I've heard a lot of women say they don't support it, and vice versa for each as well. Now, the job of the United States Army is to fight and win wars. That's what it comes down to, okay? And anything that can make us do that more effectively, I support. I have a little research here, and I'm going to read you a quote from Dan Bailey, the Sergeant Major of the Army, and what he has to say about the new Army policy, which will allow women to serve in combat roles, and then I'll provide you some feedback from my opinions as well. So this is coming from Dan Bailey, the Sergeant Major of the Army, which is the highest non-commissioned officer that there is in the United States Army. This guy works in the White House alongside with the President, and he makes way more money than me, okay? So if you don't like what he has to say, I'm just the messenger, all right? And I'm going to paraphrase some of this of his message from you. He says, "Our best qualified, regardless of gender, will now be afforded the opportunity to serve in any MOS, or military occupational specialty or job. Our detailed and deliberate implementation plan will maintain the readiness and enforce MOS-specific and gender-neutral standards based on the rigors of ground combat. Done properly, the integration of women into all MOSs will improve combat readiness and make our Army better. Readiness is our top priority. Our Army exists to fight and win the nation's wars. An incremental and phased approach by leaders and soldiers who understand and enforce gender-neutral standards will ensure successful integration of women across the breadth and depth of our formations. We are honored to serve with you all who have taken an oath to support and defend our Constitution and demonstrate the values which make our nation great." The last part of this line is what I would like to talk to you about with what he says. When Sergeant Major of the Army says, "who have demonstrated and support and defend our Constitution and demonstrate the values which make our nation great." Now, the things that make our nation great are having equal opportunity for all, having everybody having the chance to fulfill their dreams. And I wholeheartedly believe that that includes women too. Now, one of the issues that some people have is lowering the standard. No, I do not believe any standard should be lowered to be able to implement women in the Army. The standard should remain the same, mainly as far as physical fitness standards. Being a soldier, that's one of the things we pride ourselves on, is our physical fitness, and I think that should remain, the standard should remain universal throughout the Army. I don't think the standard should be dropped, because then we're not allowing ourselves to effectively win wars anymore. When we keep the standard the same, we still are. Now, if you can maintain the standard or exceed the standard, you should be allowed to do anything you want, whether you're black, you're white, if you're gay, straight, neither of the above, female or male. When it comes down to it, we're all just one human species. We're all Americans. We all love our country. And for some people, that is their biggest dream, is to be able to support and defend our country. And I, for one, support my sisters and brothers in combat who want to help make our country a safer and better place for everybody else. Now, I have mentioned before, and some of you may be aware of, I do have a 3-year-old daughter who is the pride and joy of my heart. And believe me, there's nothing I take more important than her safety and her well-being, and her wanting to, and I wanting for her to protect her and for her to have a great life. But with that being said, this was something that I really thought about when preparing for this paper. Is someone would ask me, well, how would you feel if your daughter wanted to join a combat role? And obviously, like any parent, I don't think that's something I would be very excited about. I don't think it's something I would be thrilled knowing my daughter wanted to be in combat. But on the other hand, I don't see how I could look at myself as a man and tell my daughter that she can't do something strictly because of what organs she has. I think that that would be very hard for me to do, to tell my daughter that she can't fulfill her dreams and live the life that she wants simply because she's was born a girl. Now, if she grows up and she wants to become a housewife, or if she wants to become an astronaut, or if she wants to become a scientist, or if she wants to become a Navy SEAL, or if you ask her now what she wants to be, she'll tell you she wants to be a firefighter because she wants to be like her daddy. I support all of those things 100%, and I support her in that manner because she's my daughter, and I want her to be able to fulfill her dreams and her destiny, no matter if she is going to have a dangerous job or not. So that's some of the big issues that we've had with the integration of women into the Army. Now, the subject always comes up, are we going to be a safer military for it? And the answer is, it will not affect our safety one bit. And the main reason for that is, if you look at other nations' militaries, they have exponentially larger militaries than us, and they already have women serving in combat roles in other countries. So we're already a little bit behind the 8 ball in those regards. When it comes to military combat, there's 2 big factors that always come into play, or 3 big factors. 1 is training, 2 is technology, and 3 is numbers. If you have the same technology and the same training, the nation that's going to win the war more than likely is going to be the one who has more people in it, okay? And just like any fight you might have gotten when you were a kid with your friends, 2 guys on 10 never works out very well, Thank God I'm in my mid-30s now and haven't been in one of those in a while, but when I was younger, I was in enough of them to remember when you don't have enough guys, you're normally on the losing hand. But anyways, the more people you have, the better. And at the end of the day, this is America, the United States of America, and everybody has the right to fulfill their destiny and to fulfill their dream, as I said before, regardless of what sex you were born as, or the color of your skin, or who you're attracted to. I've enjoyed being in the class with you all, and I hope you've enjoyed this speech.